All right, we're going to do another episode here. I'm going to go ahead and start the video into basically us just sitting here, and I'm going to go ahead and probably shut up because I know it doesn't come across me talking with the truck running, but I'm going to go ahead and start it up. And we're going to go for a little spin, and then I'll kind of explain what's been going on, what kind of happened, and what it's looking like for the future. So, without further ado, here we go. Go too far just quite yet. So the 1-2 shift, the shifting needs a little bit of help there. Because I don't have my seatbelt on. Still have a check engine light. All right, we're back in the garage. I figured I'd start it off with some driving. I know some people just kind of watch a few minutes of my videos. But, yeah, we got her taken for her first spin out of the driveway. So, you know, before we weren't really making it anywhere. Pretty much would get up to the top of the driveway and die. Well, we're getting somewhere finally, so hopefully we can get close to buttoning this thing up. So, what the issue was, I haven't been making videos because a lot of what I've been doing has basically been sitting out here kind of going over the whole wiring it all over again. Basically sitting here with HP tuners, basically checking every sensor, sitting here with it idling, moving, trying to get it to move, seeing what every sensor was doing, you know, just trying to figure out why the hell this thing wasn't moving. I finally got it figured out. So I was noticing that so the Gen 2 Colorado, let me just kind of go into a little bit of background. The Gen 2 Colorado, just like pretty much every modern vehicle nowadays, drive-by-wire, which means you have a gas pedal that plugs in and it's in a circuit. It's not a cable that comes up to the throttle body. It runs to the ECM. The ECM has a plug that goes to the throttle body right there. And it detects a voltage signal from that pedal to tell the ECM to open the throttle body. So that's kind of the way everything works. Well, to do that, there's several sensors and there's several kind of parameters that the ECU is looking for. So when you hit the pedal, there's like these values and they kick on certain things within the ECM, such as like, you know, big thing with me is, so predicted axle, I believe it was predicted axle source, where it was going to get that kind of data to know how much to open the throttle body. And when you hit the gas pedal, it gets it from the pedal at first, and then it starts taking over and using the vehicle speed sensors and also the pedal. This is all from my understanding, looking at how the sensors are reading and everything. It probably works completely different than that, but this is what kind of led me down the road of diagnosing this. So, and kind of my thinking of how everything was working and why I was going into limp mode, which is essentially what I figured out. I was going into limp mode. After doing some research and some looking around, I found out that I started getting once I could get this thing to move, and I moved it about 10 yards out of the garage, I would get a vehicle speed sensor code. When that kicked on, it basically was like, it did not know where to pull the speed data from, and would just put it in limp mode. I couldn't go above 2,000 RPM, and it was just pretty much dead in the water, like nothing. So did some research with that, found out there is a total of I believe 7 speed sensors on the Colorado and I believe the Silverado. So for those that don't know, you have an ABS sensor at every wheel. That is for speed sensors. So those are speed sensors. They basically deal with the ABS setup, but they also do send signal to the ECM to let it know what each wheel is doing. That way it can know when to cut power based on if you are, StabiliTrak, your traction control, your ABS, etc. So I had no ABS codes, so I kind of ruled the 4 speed sensors at the wheels out. Okay. Other speed sensors. So let's go underneath here. There are 2 speed sensors in the transmission. The bad thing is they are above the valve body. So if one of those speed sensors were to go out, you would be dropping the pan, valve body, and then you could access those speed sensors. I was really not wanting to deal with those, and it was giving me a speed sensor code like it was the back one, meaning that I was thinking it was the back one of the transmission. Well, after doing some laying down here, going over the harness, let me get some light. I come back here, and I just happened to look up here, and if you see that plug right there, that is also a speed sensor. That is the speed sensor for the transfer case. Well, come to find out, I did not have that plug. It was not in my harness, it was not wired in, and so I never really noticed it up there. It's kind of hard to see when you're laying on the ground because it is kind of, it's in front of the motor here on this side. So I never really kind of noticed that it was unplugged. I knew that I had pretty much plugged in everything from the harness. So it kind of just, I never really looked up there until a couple weeks ago. So I noticed that. I got with the harness supplier. We kind of went over some things, made sure that I had the correct transfer case, and found out that yes, I do need that sensor. So I got, last week they sent me the plug and the 2 wires to go to the ECM. So I've wired that in, ran the wiring, pinned it into the ECM, so had to take apart the connector and get that all ran. But pretty much as soon as I plugged that in and started her up, the code was gone, and yeah, now we're driving. So I think we've kind of gotten over this last, hopefully last, big hurdle. I know I've still got, not a lot, but still got quite a bit of stuff to do. You know, I don't have skids. We still have to tune, you know, get the tune kind of finalized, get the shift points good. I still have to get this thing registered. I do have a couple of leaks. One of them is right there. Let me zoom in on that. You could see that right transmission cooler line is got a drip. It's not terrible. It just kind of drips a little bit. That's not utilized until there's actually a thermostat on the Silverado that's built into the block right there. The Colorado doesn't have that, but the Silverado actually has a thermostat there, so trans fluid doesn't flow through there until it hits a certain temperature, and it's pretty high. I think it's like 180, 190, somewhere around there. But nevertheless, I've still got to fix that. I actually have another AN adapter. Actually, it was leaking before, but I tried to just replace the connector. But I think the line is actually too marred for that specific type of compression fitting. So I need to just cut the line back, and hopefully I have enough line, AN line, that I don't have to basically replumb that. Hopefully just cut the line where it's marred a little bit, put a new compression on, pull that line a little bit further back, and then we'll be good there. Other than that, I did have a small drip in the front here, and I really haven't investigated it too much, but yeah, you can kind of see. I may just have to tighten that left plug there for the oil filter relocation bracket. I gotta clean this up a little bit and kind of take a look at it, but I think it looks like either that one or that one just isn't sealed well enough. It might just not be tight enough. But I gotta play with that. That's not too big of a deal. Other than that, I really haven't seen any other drips. I think where coolant's good, I haven't seen any coolant at all. I've just seen a little bit of oil came down here and was just kind of sitting here dripping. It was a very, very small pile, but we'll get that addressed. We'll get the transmission line addressed, and then hopefully that's it as far as buttoning up leaks. I'll take that. But yeah, so that's kind of the future as far as continuing on. I do plan on, I guess, trying to move her a little bit further and further and longer. So I may do a trans relearn just to hopefully kind of fix the shifting issues. I may do that today or tomorrow, and then I'll take her for another spin, and then I'll send those logs to my tuner, and hopefully we'll start kind of finalizing this tune. And then as I'm doing that, you know, we'll get the gears broken, get some miles on that so I can do the 500 mile flush, and then get this thing start putting back together. You know, I still have to put the wheel well liner back in the front, fender flares, sliders, front bumper, winch, you know, all that stuff still has to go back on. But yeah, good update. Really, really happy now that it's moving. Kind of sucks that it was just from a plug that was missing, but hey, I guess I guess we live and learn. So I'll leave it at this, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'll probably do another one as we're tuning, and maybe as I'm kind of driving it and it's, you know, I'm going for a nice longer drive, and maybe just kind of give an update of what's going on from there. And then hopefully I'll have those 2 leaks fixed by then as well. Well, we're almost done, guys. And we'll be back on the trail. All right. Catch you guys on the next one.